Hello. So today we'll be discussing real estate transactions in Ecuador from a legal point of view because a lot of people move to Ecuador, buy real estate, or just get real estate for their residency. But you want to make sure that you go through the right process and don't fall into traps. So here is Sarah. She's an immigration and real estate attorney based in Ecuador. So Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about the process? Let's say I come to you. I want to buy an apartment in Ecuador. What happens from that point? I say, Sarah, I have a handshake agreement with Eduardo. He wants to sell me his apartment. We agreed on the price. What do we do?
The first requirement that the seller needs to provide to the buyer or their attorney is the deed, the title of the property. So, in basic of that title, I can make my research to look at if the property has liens or debts with the municipality or any legal problem or any kind of debt in any institution, and we can get a certificate from a specific office here in Ecuador where will show all the history about the property and will show very clear if the property has any lien over the property.
What are some of the issues that you've come across where someone wants to buy, they buy or they're about to buy, but then you stop the transaction because there's something?
In my experience, well, it depends a lot in which area you are buying the property. For example, is a condo, the boundary is the area, or is in the rural area, because are different requirements to check. So depends a lot which property. Using your example in a condo, it is important to check that the area that is in the title is the same that is showing in the records of the municipality in the registered property of the city, because these institutions are the ones who record all the areas in the city.
I know of people, they bought an apartment, they thought they bought an apartment, they were shown an apartment, then they were shown a title deed, and then they bought the title deed, but then it turns out it wasn't the apartment they were shown.
Yeah, that could happen in the case that no was a research about the title. I have a few bad experience with the clients who buy a property. I can give you one that they buy an apartment of 250 meter squares, and they were thinking that they are buying the balconies. However, that was not in the title. So it was impossible to fix. That is important, the communication with the seller, and also check very well the documents, because in the area could be misunderstand, and especially because you should pay the price of the area that you are going to live, because also that are different prices between, like, the terrace, balconies, the living area.
When you watch TV in the US and Canada or in Europe, you'll often hear horror stories of people, oh, I bought something in Ecuador and I lost it all and this and that. When this happens to people, and whether it be Ecuador or anywhere else in Latin America, it's because someone went to, here in this case, Ecuador, and then they bought some land or house through their wife's cousin and they just signed some paperwork. The paperwork was never properly done. There was no lawyer involved. And it's people like this that typically end up in problems. But if you just hire a lawyer, generally you don't run into any issues. That's been my experience.
Yes, that is correct, because also it depends on the country that you are working. For example, in Ecuador, all the documents should be notarized. I have like clients who come to me after they pay the money, only they go to the seller's house, sign the document, and that document doesn't have any legal value. So in Ecuador, you need to sign the document in a notary office. This office will charge you fees, and also after that, you need to register the title in the registered property in the city, and after even change the name for the taxes in the municipality where is located the property. So are few steps to take sometimes to make the things easier, faster, or cheaper. Happen these kind of mistakes.
Yeah, and then they become your clients after the
Mhm.
issues, right? Let's be clear, they became your clients after, and then it's expensive to fix, if at all possible. So people don't end up saving any money whatsoever. So tell me, if I come to you, I have a handshake agreement with Eduardo, how long until between that moment where I approach you and me actually getting my title deed? How many months or weeks?
It's just weeks in my experience, like 2 weeks, because I will take like 7 days to research the title and check and make sure that the property is totally clear and is ready to be sold to my client. So, but in 2 weeks, the process will be finished.
Great. So if you're looking for an attorney to help you with your real estate transaction in Ecuador, there's a link below and you can get in touch directly with Sara. And Sara can also help with immigration matters as well. So Sara, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Make sure to download my free ebook, 12 Mistakes to Avoid When Investing in International Real Estate, which you can find on my website, linked below. And feel free to follow me on Instagram @TheWandering Investor. I look forward to hearing from you.